In the quiet town of Elmsbridge, a grotesque ritual is discovered. A librarian is found dead with ancient coins over her eyes, the eyelids pinned open. This is not a simple crime, it is a debt being called due, a chilling history tied to a sunken ferry and a monstrous presence beneath the water. The Veiled Archive is diving into the Ferryman's Silence, a relentless Gothic thriller that merges folklore and forensic detail to explore what happens when the dead refuse to wait. The plot of the Ferryman's Silence begins in the quiet town of Elmsbridge, where a grotesque ritual is discovered. A librarian is found dead with ancient coins over her eyes and her eyelids pinned open. FBI agents Mara Holt and Lucas Gray, who specialize in occult crimes, are brought in to investigate. They quickly realize this is not an isolated murder but a ritual where a toll is being collected. As more bodies are found, the agents uncover a buried history connected to Blackwater Lake and a sunken ferry called the Hesperus. It becomes clear that an old, unpaid debt is being called due by the Ferryman. The novel is a dark, lyrical, and relentless Gothic thriller that merges folklore and forensic detail. The story's suspense is built around the terror of something watching from beneath the water and the unsettling question of what happens when the dead refuse to wait. The Ferryman's Silence, a supernatural thriller, distinguishes itself by deliberately using literary capital to focus on the setting and ambiance rather than on character depth. This stylistic choice, which prioritizes the eerie and unsettling atmosphere over character connection, is a hallmark of certain horror subgenres, where the environment itself is the character. For example, this approach can be found in Shirley Jackson's The Haunting of Hill House, where a house becomes a living entity. The result is a uniquely identifiable entry into the genre that is reminiscent of a standalone episode of The X-Files, focusing on a one-off supernatural event. While this decision successfully creates a chilling and immersive experience, it is a deliberate trade-off that may not appeal to all readers. As noted in the book's reviews, the lack of character development can leave some readers feeling that foundational elements are underdeveloped and wanting more from the protagonists. The reception for The Ferryman's Silence is overwhelmingly positive, with readers praising its unique blend of genres and atmospheric suspense. Key highlights from the reviews include atmosphere and suspense. Readers have found the book suspenseful, with one review noting how the eerie atmosphere draws readers deeper into the story. The atmosphere is described as being thick with tension, like the river itself is holding its breath. The narrative builds tension with every page. The blend of ancient rituals, creepy folklore, and unsettling murder scenes creates a chilling and immersive thriller. Fast-paced and entertaining. The fast-paced prose is consistently noted as a strength, keeping the story moving briskly and ensuring it is a page-turner. Customers find the book entertaining, describing it as a quick, easy read and oddly fun. The inclusion of humor, particularly the portrayal of the FBI agents, is also appreciated. Supernatural elements and folklore. The book's supernatural elements and ancient rituals receive positive feedback. The blend of ancient lore with a modern-day setting is seen as intriguing. The story is recommended for anyone who enjoys a dark, unsettling mystery that lingers long after the last chapter. And mixed reactions to writing and characterization. While the writing style is described as well written and weirdly poetic, some customers note a few minor errors and an overabundance of similes and metaphors. The fast pace is seen by some as coming at the expense of character development, leaving the reader wanting more from the protagonists. These reactions, while firm opinions, constitute a possible misunderstanding of the author's intentions, as some have commented saying the novella would perhaps be better served in a longer format. That wasn't the stylistic choice made by the author, directly related to our examples and what sets this book apart. While these decisions may not be for everyone, sometimes what makes a book stand out from the others are departures from expectations or common practices. In this case, I felt a sense of dread, tension, and apprehension bleed through the elements of setting, rather than vicariously through the characters themselves. And then my review. The Ferryman's Silence is a captivating and fast-paced supernatural thriller that expertly merges ancient folklore with a modern-day procedural. Damien Klink demonstrates a clear talent for building a chilling atmosphere, weaving a compelling narrative around a quiet town haunted by a dark past and a series of eerie murders. The story's strengths lie in its ability to quickly immerse the reader in a world where ancient rituals and supernatural elements feel both authentic and deeply unsettling. The combination of unsettling murder scenes, eerie folklore, and a relentless pace makes this a truly engaging read that's difficult to put down. While the brisk pace keeps the story moving and maintains a high level of suspense, it occasionally comes at the expense of character depth and foundational world building. As a short story, some elements feel underdeveloped, leaving the reader wanting more from the compelling concept and its protagonists. Despite this, the narrative remains both entertaining and suspenseful, enhanced by the humorous portrayal of the two FBI agents and a finale that delivers a chilling and immersive experience. The Ferryman's Silence is a strong offering for fans of supernatural mysteries and suspense who enjoy a quick, intense read. It leaves a lasting impression, solidifying its place as a promising entry in the genre. See, and then you can even see that with my personal take on the book. Even in my review, I did note the lack of character depth, but I did read the book again um, after reading some of the other reviews that were posted, just to see if there was something that I was missing. And now, a lot of times we do skim over things, and I think that I may have done that the first time, just not really engaging with the environment itself. But when I read it, I did it much slower the second time, and I really did sense the dread um, from the setting itself, probably even more so than I got from the lack of character depth the first time, if that makes sense. But there's also something to mention on this as I've been thinking about it over the course of the last 24 hours or so, in that there is a certain intensity or a tension um, that's like pre-built into not knowing the characters themselves. Now I may be just shooting off the hip here, or just guessing. I don't know if that was the author's intent or not, but let's say the story sticks with you, and my takeaway from it was different both times. Um, and if that's the case, if the intention was to keep the characters themselves at a minimum, then there is a tension built in, not manufactured. Um, Instead of trying to cheer for a person that you don't know, you're left with that. How do I phrase this? That the tension of a person that you don't know. And I think the best example of that would be like a friend of a friend inviting that friend over to their house, and they invite you over as well, but they don't know you're coming. So there's a tension or an apprehension there, and we can get into the psychological aspects of that. I mean, I tend to be an introvert, so for me that would be slightly apprehensive, create its own tension. For an extrovert, maybe not so much, but that's what I think is best about horror. Uh, it can appeal to everyone, and this story, I think, will appeal to everyone in its own way or in their own way. Um, just as a side note, if you are even remotely an X Files fan, you're gonna love this book. It has that vibe and feel, and it did both times for me, from beginning to end. Perhaps the lack of character depth might lead you to believe otherwise, or maybe that was the author's intention as well, was to just adapt to pop culture motifs. I mean, everybody at this point knows Mulder and Scully. Although the characters themselves don't act the same, you know, that's something that an author can rely on too. Um, I don't know that I would take that kind of a gamble, but I think it paid off. Um, yeah, I said, highly recommend this book. And again, most of what we cover is going to be on Kindle Unlimited, so this is free for you with that subscription. Um, Other than that, another thing to bring up though is it is a fairly short book. I don't remember word count per se, but it took me maybe an hour and a half. Um, yeah, and for me, getting something meaningful out of a story that short takes a dedicated writer. So all my praise here to Damian Klink. Uh, Nice job, and I'm looking forward to more. So one of my favorite genres is sci-fi, and one of my favorite subgenres is cosmic horror. One of my second favorite genres is horror. You see where the link is there. So have you ever questioned whether your very existence is a grotesque experiment? Next time, we're delving into a book that will make you rethink everything you understand about time and consciousness. It's not a story for those seeking comfort, but for those who want to peel back the curtain on a reality that feels fundamentally wrong. We're venturing into Amphitheater of the Gods, a cerebral reckoning that offers not hope, but a dark, disturbing clarity that is strangely liberating. So that'll wrap it up for episode 3. Please let me know in the comments below if these are discussions that you really enjoy. Um, I would really appreciate a like and a subscribe if they are. Even if this is something that you don't agree with or don't like, just leave a comment. Let me know. I mean, we can change things. This is a new channel after all. Um, but if it is something that you enjoy, and I'm sure you know other people that do, please feel free to share. I mean, the more exposure that these books get, the better it is for the authors that write them. I am working to communicate with the authors that are featured here. So yeah, I mean, any feedback that you have, they'll see because they get the links for each video. But at any rate, that's going to wrap it up today. Thank you.